We changed lanes. We're still on the same highway. That's the first thing. The second thing is, if you ultimately threaten people long enough, they'll abandon you, and that's happening. We now have SIPRs, which is the alternative to the SWIFT system. We're watching countries do business with each other in their own currencies, whether it's Japan and China, or Saudi Arabia and China, or Iran and China. It doesn't matter. They're doing business in their own currencies. In other words, people are getting away from the dollar. We are being isolated. The original carrier of the plague. Put us in a room. All of this is doing enormous damage to the American people in the United States. And I think it's hurting Europe because we're dragging them down with us. At some point, this is going to change because I predict the governments in Europe will change. But remember that America is also the microwave nation. You know this, Dan. Well, when's this going to happen? Well, next week. And I will look at people and I say, well, it's developing. These things are coming together, but it's not going to happen overnight. BRICS did not happen overnight. It began over time, but we've accelerated the process. They've now built institutions much more rapidly than we thought possible. The point is that Americans say if you do something on day one, then on day two it should happen. It's not that way. The world does not operate like a microwave, but we're headed in very dangerous and bad directions unnecessarily. Because remember something else, we're harming people and nations who are our creditors. Think about that. Why would you take action against Japan in particular, who's our largest creditor outside of the United States? What is the purpose of that? What if these people decide, and I think they're getting close to it, to simply offload our treasuries in a giant fire sale? Well, they're not going to be the Lone Rangers when that happens. The countries just say, we've had it. We're not dealing with these people anymore. We depend on foreign investment. That's how our system works. People show up, they buy our bonds, we take the money. The money helps us sustain ourselves, our economy. And this is a cycle that has been going on for decades. When the foreign investment stops, what do? Well, we've been buying our own bonds. That's called toxic debt that sits on your desk at the Fed, but it has no value. You're buying up your own stuff to conceal the disaster that's underway. That's why you've got to look at all of these factors, but anyone who's a competent economist, and there are lots of them that people can go listen to, they're warning us that this is not going to end well. And what have we got now? We've got more of the same. So people are now saying, well, write them off. These people are crazy. They've lost their minds. They're going to go over the cliff. We are going to go over the cliff.